Hello everybody! Happy Art Day! Welcome to Freakin' Art. My name's Anastasia and I'm so excited you decided to join me to make some art today. Well, here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in the middle of winter. Ooh. But that means there's lots of snow outside and I love the snow. So for today's class, we're going to be doing a mixed media winter wonderland collage. That's right. We're going to be using some paper and tinfoil and a little bit of paint to make a wonderful winter scene. Now for today's class, you're going to need some aluminum foil or tin foil, some different colors of paper. I have brown and blue and green. You're going to need one white piece of paper, a circle to trace, some scissors, a glue stick, a pen, some white paint, paintbrush, water and paper towel, and then maybe a paper plate or a palette to put your paint on. Now before we start, let's do a little bit of breathing and stretch so we can feel really focused and ready to make our art. Are you ready? Everybody breathe in and breathe out. Oh, that felt good. Let's do it one more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Ooh, let's roll our shoulders back and roll them forward. And interlace our fingers and stretch out those arms and hands and fingers. Ooh, wait. Huh, I feel much better and ready to make some artwork. I hope you are too. So, we're going to be using our simple shapes, that's right, rectangle, triangle, and circle to make this really cool wooded winter wonderland. And we're going to be also using some fun things from around our house. Who knew you could use tinfoil to make your artwork look amazing? So to start, let's get our white piece of paper. Now, we're going to be using the white of the paper to act as the snow. So we don't actually have to glue or paint anything on the bottom half. So let's start with our white piece of paper. And if you have a blue piece of paper, that's great. If not, your sky could be whatever color you want it to be. It could even be tie-dyed. It's your art. You should do what you want to do. So, I want my sky to come about 2/3 down. That's about here. So an easy trick to measure where I want my paper to be and where to cut it is to place it on our page, and lucky me, my blue piece of paper and my white piece of paper are basically the same size. So I can just move the blue piece of paper down to where I want the sky to stop. So do I want it to be here or here? Let's go with somewhere like that. Okay. Now this is an easy, cool trick. You could just take that piece of paper and fold it right over the top. And there you go. You know where you need to cut. So we're going to take the blue piece of paper and crease it real good on that fold with our fingernails. And you can either cut it, or you can fold it over again and crease it one more time real good. And then lick it. And then we'll carefully tear. You can also, like I said, just cut with your scissors right along that line. But I really enjoy tearing the paper. Makes a great sound. I got my sky piece. So now I'm going to put blue on the back. Blue. I'm going to put glue on the back of the blue piece of paper. So I got my glue stick. I'm going to go all along the edge here. You don't have to cover the whole back piece of the paper. Woo! Smush it off. It's mushing off here. I got to mush it back on. Okay. You can go along the edge. I don't know why my glue is so mushy today. Maybe it was out too far. We live and learn, guys. We live and learn. I do an X. Woo! Mushing all the glue all over the place. Okay. That is probably enough glue. You can see I didn't put it everywhere, but I got all the edges. And I got a big X in the center, so it will definitely be stuck. Now I'm going to line it up to the top edge here. Now don't worry about it being perfect. Remember, nothing's perfect. It's all just good enough. Should make you happy, not frustrate us, you know? Okay, so I got the sky on there. I'm just smoothing out my blue piece of paper on there. So now I have my sky and I have my snowy ground. I'm going to get my tin foil here. It's really wrinkly because it was in a ball. I'm going to smooth it out a little bit just so it's easier to glue down. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut out my moon. So your moon could be as big or as small as you want it to be. Depends on the circle you have to trace. Okay, so I got my tin foil. Now I'm going to get I have a cup that I'm tracing. I'm going to use a Sharpie. Now remember, don't worry if your line's not perfectly straight or your mark is really dark, because we can put the glue on the side of the tin foil that has the marker on it. Okie dokie, I got my circle. I'm going to cut it out real carefully. Tin foil rips really easily, so we got to take some deep breaths and focus and cut it out really carefully. Ha! I did it without ripping it. That's amazing. Now I have my moon. I'm going to put glue on the side where I used my marker to draw the circle. I'm going to go, just took out that glue stick a little bit so it's not super mushy this time. Go all around that edge. And I'll put maybe a little dot in the center. Now you can put your moon wherever you want on your page. Go here, you can go in the center, you can go here. I'm going to go to the side. Now just smooth it down. What I like about the tin foil is it's reflective. It shows the light, kind of like a real moon would. Isn't that cool? I think so. I love working with aluminum foil. Okay, I got my moon in. Now I want to put in my lazy river going through the snow. Now maybe it's frozen and that's why it's silver. Or maybe it's just that night sky sparkling on that water. Who knows? I would say that's a viewer's choice. And you can see in this composition, I have my river coming in at a diagonal and then going back. Now that's a trick us artists use to get people's eyes to look into your composition and then around. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to go with that diagonal again. Now you can take your tin foil, you can either cut it or you can tear it. If you tear it, you might not have as much control over it, but it's really fun. So let's see. You can put it up against your piece of paper and measure how much tinfoil you want. And we'll just tear like a long strip. Now your river could be as wide or as skinny as you want it to be. It could also be super windy or just straight as an arrow. It's artist choice. It's your artwork and it should look like your artwork. Now I think I want my river to curve back a little bit, just like in this one. Maybe not just like, but similar to this one. So I'm going to tear a shorter, narrower piece of tinfoil. So I got this one. So I want to do maybe a little bit more narrow and short. And the good thing about the tinfoil is you can keep on tearing it as you go if you don't like the shape or the length of it. So I have my tinfoil. I'm going to place it where I think I want it. I'm going to go ahead and fold over my bumps because I want my river to be a little bit more straight. Okay, so now I'm going to put the glue stick on the back of the first piece of tinfoil. And again, you don't have to cover the whole thing, just enough so it sticks on that page. And also, maybe don't do it right on top of your artwork like I'm doing. If I was you, I'd be going like this. Just right on the table. So we'll go ahead and do that. Right on. Good example here. Don't do it on top of your artwork. So now I'm going to put in the first part of my river. Again, you could have it going any way you want. You could go all the way up into the sky and be a surrealist piece of art. But I'm going to have mine coming in from the corner here. Tuck that under. I'm just going to smooth it on out a little bit here. Now you see, I have a bit of a tail sticking out, but that's okay because I can fold it over the edge. Voila! I'm going to put this down so I can smooth it on here a little bit better. You can use your fingers, you can use your fist. Be careful because it might tear, like I said. It's gentle, gentle tinfoil here. Okay, so I got my diagonal line of my river in. Now I want to put in my other piece of river. Probably like that. So you can place it wherever you want to go. Again, you could just have one line. You got one really long line. You could have a big squiggly S. I'm going with like a V shape here. Okay, so I'm going to again put glue on the back of my tin foil here. And then I'm going to place it where I want it on my page. So I want it to touch the horizon line. That's where the land meets the sky. There we go. And I'm going to smooth it on out. So now I have a beautiful snowy landscape with just using 3 pieces of paper or 2 pieces of paper in my tinfoil. I got my sky, I got my snow, I got my river and my moon. Now I'm going to put in my trees. The trees are really easy to make. You can do as many or as few as you like. They're all just different sizes of triangles. So this is one triangle that's really skinny. This is one really chunky triangle. This is one medium-sized triangle. This is 2 triangles on top of each other. And this is 3. I have a couple little ones cut out already. But I'll cut out a couple more so you can see. Now, I believe that you can draw a triangle. I believe you could cut a triangle without drawing it, because I believe in you. But I'm just going to show you real quick split this in half so it's smaller. So you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to draw a triangle. And like I said, they could be any size triangle you want. So I'm going to do a tall, skinny one here. Maybe I'll do a shorter one. And we'll do an even taller, skinnier one here. Ooh, that one's real tall. So any size triangle you want. I don't know where that cap went. We'll just leave this over here. Hopefully it doesn't dry out. So now we're going to cut out our triangles. I always like to have a couple more that I think I'm actually going to use so I can move them around on my composition. That's move them around on my page to see what looks best. I'm assuming your paper is not as wrinkly and big as on mine is, so maybe it's a little bit easier to cut. And remember, don't worry too much about cutting exactly on the line or making your lines exactly straight, because it's going to look great when you put it all together no matter what. This one's funny. Okay, next we're going to take our brown paper or whatever color paper you want and cut out some little rectangles for our stumps. So you could cut out some big fat stumps, you could do some tall, skinny stumps, artist choice. It's your artwork and it should look like your artwork. So I just cut out one big long line and I'm going to cut this one in a couple pieces. And maybe I'll do one that's a little bit fatter. And one that's real skinny. You should have some triangles. Couple triangles. As many as you want. You could have a big forest. You could have a sparse forest. I mean, you could just leave it like this and it would be an open plane. You should have some triangles and some different rectangles. So now we can place our triangles on our page and see where we want them in our composition. Okay, so I like these two together, so I'm going to put some glue on the back of my brown piece of paper for my trunk here. I'm going to decide where I want it. Go right here. So I'm putting down my trunk first. Now I'm going to put blue on the back. Glue on the back side of my triangle where the marker is, so I can hide that line since I didn't cut a perfect triangle out at all. Oops. And I'm just going to put my skinny triangle right over my rectangle there. Bye-bye! I got one tree. So now we can keep on doing this. You can put your trees wherever you want. You could stack them. Let's do a stacked one next. Okay, so I got my two triangles. Let's see what... I just have two triangles and I'm stacking them one on top of the other like that. And then I want to see what trunk I like with that. That looks nice. And where I want it. Okay, so again, putting glue on the trunk. We're putting our trunk on our page. Now we're going to take two triangles and put some glue on the back of them. Now I'm going to put one triangle down first. And I'll put the other one right on top of it. And now it looks like my tree goes like this. Okay, let's see. That looks pretty good. I want to put a tree back here, I think. So I'm going to take my trunk. I'm going to put it back here. And then we'll choose a tree to put on top of it. You know, when shapes are smaller, they look like they're farther away, and when they're bigger, they look like they're closer up. So I'm going to take the small triangle and put some glue on the back. There we go. Now it looks like I have a teeny tiny tree back there. Well, maybe we'll do a couple over here too. I'm going to take my big chunky monkey rectangle for a trunk. I'm going to put some glue on the back and I put it down on that paper. Now I'm going to take another triangle. I'm going to put it right over there. Right over top of my trunk. And you think I have room for one more tree. Let's see. It's coming together really nicely. At least I think so. So for this tree, oh, maybe we'll overlap the trees. That's exciting. Let's choose our trunk. That looks nice. I'm putting some glue on the back of my trunk here. Go ahead and press it down gently to my page. Now at this point, my fingers are pretty sticky, but instead of being frustrated, I'm just taking a big deep breath and letting it all go. You can also use it to my advantage to pick up the pieces of paper. So I have my big triangle and I'm putting some glue on the back. And I'm putting it right over that rectangle. And my tree is going to go on top of the other tree just a little bit, but that's okay. Because that's another way that we make things look like they're in front or behind things, by overlapping. So this tree is going to look, it's going to give the illusion of being in front of the other tree just because it's going over top of it. Isn't that cool? I think so. I'm going to take my tiny triangle, put some glue on the back. And I'm going to top my tree. Now let's take a look at our composition so far. That's how all of our shapes are arranged on our page. I think it's looking really nice. We have our diagonal line of our river coming in. We got this little cluster of trees right here by the moon and another two on the other side of the river bank. Now, at this point, I mean, it's a pretty nice collage and you could just leave it like this. Or you could take it one step further and put some snow in there with our paint. Let's go ahead and do that. Because why not? We won't know how fun it looks until we try. So, I got my white paint, I got a palette, I got some water, paper towels, and a paintbrush. A Q-tip would also be a really cool thing to use because it's that perfect circle, so you could dip it in and go bop, 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 and not worry about it. I forgot to bring my Q-tip, so I'm using a paintbrush. Either one works. I have my white paint. I'm just putting a little bit of paint in my palette. A plate would work fine. And this way, I don't have to worry about making my white paint in the container all dirty. So the next time I go to use my white paint, it's going to be white. Now, once we have everything glued down, then we can do our snow. So just put a little bit of paint or a lot of paint. You could have really fat snowflakes or really tiny ones. It's all up to you. So put some paint on your paintbrush or your Q-tip and go to town. Just go ahead and put the paint all over your page. And this way, since we wait to the end, it will look like the snow is falling even on the trees and not just on the sky. So, go for it. I'm just going to go ahead and do a bunch of snowflakes. And remember, no one snowflake is the same as any other, so don't worry if they're all different shapes and sizes. That's going to be closer to what real life is like anyway. There we go. I think this looks really nice. We have our very own mixed media winter wonderland. Now, just a reminder, mixed media is when you use more than one material. So in our case, paper, foil, and paint to make a piece of art. Well, I hope you liked today's class. I sure thought it was fun. We learned how we can use something like tin foil, which we usually have in the house, to make our artwork look extra special. I can't wait to see what you guys created. So please share your photos with me and tag on Instagram or send me an email, or maybe even send me your artwork in the real mail, and then we can look at it together online. If you liked today's class, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. It really helps me continue to make these fun art classes for you online. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed making art with you today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you next week. Bye!